Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And on today's podcast, I'm gonna, how can I say it? It's a pleasure to have this person on, and you'll get to listen to the journey and how powerful her story is. That's going to be able to manifest with a lot of people, especially females out there. So today, I would like to welcome the wonderful Charlie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm more nervous than you are there for some reason. So obviously you've seen a previous podcast, and then I think I reached out to you, didn't I? And I said, "Oh, look, I'd love to have you on," and you was like, but then I think what was more surprising is because how welcoming you was, because you were like, "Oh, I'd love to." So I was like, "Oh, right, okay."
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously you know the situation. It's not about glamorizing anything. It's not about, it's more demystifying and giving information how people can, and people listening to your journey as well, which I think is important. You understand that I have the one question for you, and at the end, you can ask me any question you want. There's no questions off topic, so you can ask.
I remembered it now, I forgot it.
It's all right. We've got plenty of time. So my first question, Charlie, is, who are you?
Well, I'm Charlie. It depends who you ask, really. But me personally, yeah, I was an addict. I was an addict for a very long time. I was an addict from 15, and I'm 2 years clean next week.
Congratulations.
And it's the longest I've ever been clean in my adult life. So I'm just like learning how to live, really, and how to live and cope with my emotions and my feelings. And I'm very impulsive, and that's got me in a lot of trouble in the past. And it's learning how to check in with myself and think before I do things, which I never was able to do till I went to rehab.
Okay, well, I'm sure. Well, obviously, we'll get to that. So, can I take you back in time? Yeah. Because obviously, one of the key things that we do is I don't research people, so I don't look into anything. I don't look at previous posts or anything like that, because I want to learn myself. And I think a lot of people do this research, and I think it kind of guides you in where you want to go. So I try not to do it. So what I would say is, can we go back in time?
Yeah.
So can we go back to, obviously, I know you're not going to remember being born, but like the family environment, like mum, dad, brothers, sisters, like what was growing up, and because you're my era, aren't you? So you're more like, so you'd have gone primary, middle, high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should we go up to just leaving middle? So that'd have been 13 then, wouldn't it? So we go from.
I started going a bit wrong though while I were at middle school.
Okay.
My parents, they all say I'm weird, because I remember the exact day that my parents separated, and my parents separated on 14th October 1987. I took my first ecstasy pill the next day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started with weed and stuff, but my mum, I love her to bits. My dad, I was a daddy's girl, and there was trouble in their relationship, and my dad had other girlfriends, and I was keeping quiet about my dad seeing girlfriends. And I actually kept quiet to my mum till I was 19. At the first time I'd got released from Holloway prison, and I went to my mum's and I got drunk with my mum, and I went, "Mum, I caught Dad in bed with Sue," and she was like, "Yeah, I know." She left her earring in bed, and I'd been lying to my mum.
And all the time she knew.
And all the time she'd known.
Oh, wow.
So it's only like when I did the ACEs and learned out, because my mum, I love her to bits, but when I was a teenager, I couldn't stand her. Okay. And that's not a nice thing to say. But my dad were perfect. It was all my mum's fault. It was my mum that took me away from my dad, and my relationship now is brilliant with my mum. But for a long time it wasn't good. I mean, the first time I ever got violent, because obviously I had to look into it all, was when we had a phone call. My dad was supposed to be taking me to the fair, and we got a phone call, and this woman, my dad's on the phone, and this woman's going, thinking that my dad was on the phone to my mum. She's going, she didn't know who I am, but I'm sleeping with Stephen. And I just exploded. And back then, in the 80s, you remember the old saloon doors that people used to have? Well, we had them, and I ragged it off the wall and smashed all the phone up.
Okay, so the turning point for you was your mum and dad. So before that, was it a like good family home? Was it?
The thing was, my dad were a policeman. He were on drug squad. And then my dad, when he left drug squad, he owned pubs and nightclubs. But as a child, I was seeing things that I shouldn't have seen. But it's my sister, my big sister, God bless, she was doing stuff to try and protect me. And it's like years later now that I'm clean, and I go, oh, do you remember when they brought guns in safe? And she'll go, how did you know that?
Wow. And as a police officer,
he wasn't a police officer then, but he owned pubs and nightclubs. But like, there were supposedly going to be an armed robbery, so my dad didn't there wasn't none of that pressure pads. It were all lads from Miggy. We were sat in the nightclub waiting for it to happen.
Right. Okay.
You know, my dad were because a lot of my dad's staff were actually people that he'd nicked.
Okay.
Because back in 80s and 90s,
it was a mutual respect thing back then.
It was different.
So is it just you and your sister at home?
Well, I do have another sister. This is the thing with my dad. I have another sister that I don't have anything to do with.
Okay.
And I think there's a week or something between the birthdays, and I've got different mothers.
Oh, okay. Right.
So my Sarah, my big sister, though, she even when I was in addiction, my sister had this ability to find me, and guaranteed whatever trap house I were in, Christmas Day or Boxing Day, my sister would be coming through that door with Christmas dinner to make sure that I'd eaten that day.
Wow, that's love, that, isn't it? No matter where you are, she'll find you.
My sister's been my #1 cheerleader. So and do you know, it's mad. She still has the same phone number from back in the day, because she knows I know it. She'd never change her phone number.
You'll know that off by heart, yeah.
And the house number is still the same.
Oh, wow.
Because she knows that I know that off by heart.
So we have a turning point, don't we, where mum and dad split up. And it's a turning point for you. But so are you saying there's a little bit, because you said something along the lines of you didn't like your mum because you believed your mum was taking or pushing your dad away from her.
Yeah.
But not realising really.
My mum was going through hell.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
And my mum was using alcohol to cope with it.
Okay.
Because it much as I had everything, and I had horses and I had all the rest of it, I was with my Nana Pat from Thursday till Sunday. And I can remember as a kid, my cousins on my mum's side, because my mum's from down south and my dad's were a Leeds lad from Armley. It was very much like I didn't talk. I spoke different to all my cousins. You know, my cousins were all clever. I mean, now obviously I know I've got dyslexia and I've got ADHD and stuff, so I know the reasons why I act out. I've got that defiance disorder. You know, you tell me to do something, I'm going to do the total opposite, because it's just the way I want.
It's just in you.
But now I know there's reasonings behind my behaviours. But back then they didn't give you them things.
There was nothing like all your ADHDs and all that. They weren't even heard of. So that's where you're seeing. So I'm guessing that's where you're seeing your mum use alcohol to control or to cover the pain that she's going through, or cover the trauma that she's going through. And then it's a turning point for you in your life.
But she wasn't an angel either. Do you know what I mean? So it weren't. It
balanced itself out at times. So what happens to you from there? Do you move on to high school?
I was at middle school, and when they split up.
So you're around 13 now, aren't you?
Yeah, and then I started getting bullied because I've been this tall since I was like 10.
Okay.
So I told my mum I was going to be 7'6", because everyone's growth spurt were like that. Mine were like that.
Okay.
And yeah, so I had to see a doctor and I had injections and that.
What, to slow your growth?
To slow my growth down, yeah.
Oh wow! I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I used to have to go out, but because I was more developed, I also became a bit of a target for bullies.
Okay.
And I got bullied in middle school until they exploded, and then I never got bullied again.
Okay, so you lashed out and then it stopped.
Yeah.
So that's in middle school.
That's in middle school, and then I went to high school, and yeah, and it's mad because it was my teachers in high school that noticed, that thought I were on drugs and pulled my parents in. I've got, no, I'm not. And it was, I'll never forget her name, it was Mrs. Singleton at Abbey Grange.
Oh, was you in Abbey Grange?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So.
But even then, like, we used to get let out at different times because we used to carry on with Lawnswood School. Even then, it became my thing. I used to walk through Lawnswood School with my tie on just to see if anyone had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what sort of a day I had.
I'd tell you a story, actually. I got sent to Lawnswood School. So it used to go 3rd, 4th and 5th in it. Well, all my family, all my dad's side of the family was all like Woodhouse, High Park, and they all went to Lawnswood. So they had it in there and I'd go there. I only lasted the first year, though. I only lasted the 3rd year, and then I ended up at Allerton Grange. But I remember Abbey Grange. But for us, Abbey Grange was a posh school in our eyes. Like, Abbey Grange was a posh school back then. So you went to Abbey Grange. Any GCSEs? Did you see it through?
Yeah, I did my GCSEs, but I didn't get the grades that they thought I would, because by this point, I mean, I went into my French exam absolutely absolutely spangled.
Okay.
Sociology, absolutely drunk out my head, you know.
Okay. So the substance misuse had already started by high school.
I used to go to my nana parks, used to climb out the window and be gone. I'd go to the gallery, then go Euphoria, then or Juice, and then I'd come and I'd on the estate, they used to be like them circle windbreaker things where I used to hide behind there. So when she went out with dog or getting in because we're too spangled to get up back in the house. I
mean, just for the camera, when we were talking Juice, that back then these was like illegal blues, wasn't it? So like, sorry, they call them illegal drinking dens. I think that's what they call them now. But there were quite a few, weren't there? So you had like the likes of Sunny's, Cliffs,
Max's,
Juice, and they were all quite what were cowboys. They were quite close, weren't they? Oh wow. Okay, so finish school. So I'm getting sorry. When you're in school, what's your ambition? You know, because most people in school and they go, because I'm just saying, like, obviously you've got the good upbringing.
I didn't even tell you.
Okay.
Guess what I did for my work experience?
You're a police officer.
I went with police, yeah, because I wanted to be a policewoman.
Yeah, but we see what it is honestly, it makes sense because your dad's your hero.
Yeah.
So why would you not want to be, and especially your dad was quite high up within the police force. So obviously that gives you that, and not that you've got that foot. I'm sure your dad's in your ear going, join the police force. You know, I can do it.
I were even though I were doing mad things, I were in cadets and everything.
Oh wow. Okay. So the plan was to be a police officer.
And then I met David and it just all went to pot. Okay,
so this is after school?
No, this was when I was 15. Okay. This is like just before I did my GCSEs and that. But he would come and pick me up. Nowadays it'd be called grooming.
Yeah.
Right. I was 15 and he was like 28.
Okay.
And it'd be coming and picking me up in stolen cars and Well, I mean, then of course my mum and dad just said, you're not allowed to see him. So that were it then. And then my mum got that desperate with my behaviour. She actually contacted social services and said, I need help. And I'll never forget, they came around to our house. We lived in Cookridge. And
by the way, another posh area back then.
And they told me I could leave home at 16.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
So that were it. 2 months before my 16th birthday, I'd gone off and I was living with him, and I can remember him taking me back to go get my GCSE results and me thinking, oh, they're good, you know, it can't and that, and just madness. And like my mum said, within 3 months I was gone. It took 3 months of being around him, and
because you got to think, a lot of people, like you said it yourself, a lot of people would call that grooming now. The thing that's bad for our generation is we go up, because back then it was the norm for certain things. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying it was right, I'm just saying it was norm for these older men to be courting these younger women.
If you were in high school and you had a boyfriend with a car and he were older than you, it was like...
And it wasn't frowned upon.
No, it wasn't.
And it was still grooming then. It was still grooming then. So, you meet David, you're off with David.
Yeah.
Do you ever go back home after that?
No, I've never been home since.
So that's your relationship. You're fully involved with David. Is there still a thing where you're still wanting to be in the police force, or is that...
No.
So that's gone already.
No.
So I'm guessing now you're not subjected, but you're now seeing a lot of things that, being from the area that you're from, you're not used to seeing those things, are you? So you're now seeing a lot more things within...
Well, this is how naive I was. He was smoking heroin and telling me it was cannabis oil, and because he smoked it in front of his mum, I thought he was telling the truth, so I thought I was trying cannabis oil.
Wow.
That's how naive I was.
Wow.
And then I'll never forget it, you know, you remember Prince Albert on end there?
Yeah. It's right on the end here as well, yeah.
Well, this day, he was like, come on, get up. And I was like, no, I need a bath, I need to put my makeup on and all that. And then, like, he'd been giving me it, and this morning I woke up and I went, I've got flu, I'm not going anywhere, I ache all over. He went, come with me, you'll feel all right. And I'll never forget being parked in car, side of there, smoking. And he's going, here, have some of this. And I went, no, I don't want none. And he went, have some of this, it'll make you feel better. And I had some, and I threw up this green stuff, and I'm going, no, I don't want. He went, have some more. And I can remember shivering, and I went, this ain't cannabis oil, is it? And he just turned around and went, you won't leave me now, will you, bitch?
Wow. So he trapped you?
Oh, definitely. But the thing was, I wanted to dream of turning the bad boy and, you know. And
yeah. So again, because he's portraying himself as this bad man, you're naively going, I'll change him. But really what he's doing is playing a game on you.
I manipulate him to it. And then...
And you are 16, 17 here?
Yeah. And then I was, 16, definitely. But then I stayed with him and I started twocking cars and doing all that drivel. And then, to make it worse, I married him, but I was so manipulated into marrying him because I went up to Armley Jail on my birthday, and it was my 18th birthday, and he went, oh, will you marry me in front of the visiting room and that? Oh yeah, I'll marry you, yeah. You know, because everyone were looking at me. Yeah. Like, yeah, I'll marry you in about 4 years' time if you look. And then the next thing I knew, his mum had booked it. His mum had sorted everything out, and his mum even chose my wedding dress. I had no input because his mum was like hoping that I could change him, I think. And yeah.
So how long did that relationship last?
Once I married him, I was only with it because my wedding night was the first night that he beat me.
Okay.
And he used to do really bad stuff to me. He used to smother me, and
honestly, we genuinely don't need to. I don't want you to trigger yourself or anything like that. Definitely not.
I just went through hell with him. But being a big girl, and don't get me wrong,
you could have a bit of a go.
I could have a go myself, and we'd be taking backs to each other, and you know.
So it was a very volatile, violent relationship.
And then I'll never forget, I was up on Hamilton Ave, and we just bobbing and that, and this lad walked in, and do you know it, Evo, with blonde hair,
No.
big lad. I'll show you a picture of him after. But Evo had just been released from prison. It was bonfire night. Yeah, bonfire night. I got married in January, and I met Evo on bonfire night, 1995, and I never went home.
So you never went back home to your husband?
No. And
Okay.
I was with Evo for 28 years.
Oh wow. Okay. So you've left the. I mean, for want of a better word, it was a man that groomed you from the ages of 15, manipulated you into taking heroin,
Yeah.
then manipulated you into marrying him, and then obviously subjected you to violence.
The mad thing was when I met Evo, I'll never forget, I was Mellow Maggie, and I said, "Can you knock Dave?" She went, "Yeah, of course." Kind of went, "Yeah, I'll go out with him."
You wanted somebody to protect you, didn't you? Yeah, because obviously
And
you're in the relationship there.
I'll give him his due. You know, my life could have been a lot worse.
Mm.
You know, there are many girls that managed to get through what I've got through without doing even worse things than what's happened to me. You know, and I'm lucky I've come out unscathed from having to sell myself or anything like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I might have done other things, but in that way, he always protected me and never let anything like that happen to me.
Yeah. So, well, I'm like, I like the way you've just put that then, because again, when you're looking at it through what you're subjected through at a young age, most people of the generation you're from would have gone to the selling the body and certain places where you could. And obviously there's times where there'll have been things where because you've touched on where you went to Holloway, did you say you went to prison? So obviously we know that you've been to prison because you've admitted that. And then we also can say that you mentioned about a twat you'd been in car. So there would be a criminal activity. But that's only because by now you've got a habit, haven't you? So you've got a feature. And again, for the camera, we always say we're not glamorizing, so it's not something that we go into in detail. Do you know what I mean? So you're with the new fella. How's that relationship?
I'd say it was pretty. I mean, we were up to no good. There's no other way going about it.
You've got to survive, haven't you? And you've got a habit to feed.
And habit to feed, and I'm doing all sorts. But I'd say like the last 10 years, he started drinking. Okay. Then he turned very controlling and manipulative. But I never even realised all this till I went and did the Freedom Programme. Okay. I never, and when they were talking about a controller and I'm thinking, that's everyone. And it proper blew my head off. And I went, it really, really upset me. So, because I didn't even realise. Yeah. I just thought it was, you know. Because
you're in the relationship at the time, aren't you? Okay, so there has to be a time when does that relationship, when does that end and what makes that end? Is there somebody else that comes into the picture, or is it just that just stops?
Right. This one on the 23rd of July 2023, Evo were poorly, he was going yellow, and I've been trying to get him to go to hospital. Okay. And he wouldn't go because he didn't want to rattle in hospital, even though he knows that he turned up. And I would have done, because this is the thing. I'd score for him, he'd score.
It's because you understand the pain that they're actually going through. So it's one of them where you go, I understand that pain you're going through, I'm going to help you.
So I went to go score, and we had some gate, and then he said, go get me your methadone and I'll go. I went and got my methadone because I would have done anything he said. I realised that with the control he had over me, because I would have done anything that man said. I'd have jumped through fire. I really would. And I've done silly things because he said, do you know what I mean? But I went off and I got my methadone, and this is the thing, I even went and got someone to sit with him because then he wanted some pre-grabs. Go get me some pre-grabs and I'll go to hospital. So he's had 1 bottle of my methadone and I've gone off, got him pre-grab and got stoned and that, come back. And I'll never forget, I was sat on the sofa, I just had a pipe. I just looked over at him and he stopped breathing. So I've got him off the sofa and I'm giving him mouth to mouth. But you know when iPhones, when the speaker goes?
Yes.
The speaker had gone on my phone, so I couldn't ring 999. So I was braying on next door to phone 999. Now I put my dog away, and I'll tell you about my dog, but I put dog away, and she was a bit protective. Next door neighbours come in now. The lad that was in the house with me, for some reason, when I'd been bent down, giving mouth to mouth, the lad has opened the door to where the dog was and they let the dog out. So the dog's leapt over me and Evo and grabbed my next door neighbour by the hip and took him to the ground. So my mate was just totally and utterly froze, just couldn't move. So I've had to stop doing it, get the dog off, put the dog away. But all this has happened while he's on the phone to 999.
Wow, okay.
So then I'm giving him mouth to mouth and ambulance has turned up. Ambulance won't come in because of the dog. I've got a dangerous dog marker against my name as it is and against my address, and she's just bailing somebody. 17 minutes it took the armed police to come.
Wow.
And they came in and said he was dead. So then they've got me outside. My whole world, my safety, my person that I've spent all my adult life with is gone. And I'm an absolute wreck. And then they come and say they're arresting me on suspicion of murder. Now, I had, since one of his friends, another friend had come and I'd said to him, get the dog out the back door. They're going to take the dog. They're going to seize the dog. So my mate had gone and got the dog out the back door and he'd heard them talking on the corner about nicking me on suspicion of murder. So he'd gone and got the dog and stood at the end of the street. Trouble was, when they said they were going to arrest me on suspicion of murder, I've absolutely exploded, attacked the police. The CS gassed me, the dog's heard me scream, the dog's yanked out of his hands and bit a police officer. So then my dog's been seized. I'm locked up for suspicion of murder and I was very much, I didn't talk to the police. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Everything with no reply, got released. But because Hope, my dog, had been seized before, I knew which kennels Hope had been to, and I knew the police went to do assessments on the morning because she'd been seized and she would run at litter. Her pit bull measurements were millimetres under, so I got her back. Okay,
but she was a pit bull.
She was a pit bull, yeah. She would just run at litter. And I kept on ringing up every morning, 10 o'clock. Is he there yet? Is he doing assessment on Hope? And after a week, and he were there. And I went, can I talk to him? So they've gone and asked him anyway. He said, come, yeah, talk to me. And I said, you do know the circumstances of a biting, don't you? And he went, yeah, she's bit 2 kids on Crosswatts Park. I went, whoa, backtrack, hang on a minute, just let me get in touch with my solicitor. I got in touch with my solicitor, they phoned up, asked for the paperwork to be emailed to them. This were about 11:30. I got a phone call, pick her up from the police station at 2 o'clock. Needless to say, no, nothing. So I also know that West Yorkshire Police were trying to get my dog out of the picture because when they come to bust my house, because they had a dangerous dog marker, they just couldn't come through the door.
Very smart on your part then.
So...
yeah, so you've got a dog as a protector. So,
I had a few.
Okay. So what happens with that case? That case is obviously dropped then, isn't it?
No. I got... I was on bail for... well, they're probably looking for me for about 9 months. But when they eventually found me, I thought, right, this is it. But it was the first time I ever rang my stepdad, and because people were talking double figures and that to me, and I'm like, listen, I've only ever done 4 years. They're talking double figures. This is getting ridiculous.
Wow.
Will you help me? Because I were only trying to get him to hospital, and it's the first time ever my stepdad, who is a solicitor, has ever helped me with a case.
So your mum had remarried?
Yeah, my mum had remarried. Yeah, and my stepdad helped, and I were in Crown Court, and it had been dropped to supplying, resulting in the death of the methadone. Me mum and my stepdad there.
Sorry. So can we go back? So your charge was dropped from murder, and it was charged to possession,
well,
or intent to supply.
I got released while they were doing autopsy.
Okay.
And the thing was, they lost his body for 4 weeks because COVID had just been. They had the morgues were full. They didn't know where his body was for 4 weeks. That's why I couldn't go view him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They found him in Wakefield.
From Leeds?
Yeah, because all the morgues were full in Leeds. They'd sent him to Wakefield, but nobody knew where he was.
Wow. So his own family, nobody else could actually go.
He hadn't had any contact with his own family. In 28 years, I'd only met his mum twice.
Wow. So you actually lost his body for 4 weeks?
4 weeks, yeah.
So wait a minute. So how did they identify him then?
They did the autopsy, and when the funeral parlour went to go get him, he went at St James's, and that's when it all went. Yeah.
Okay. So we fast forwarded a bit. So we've now your stepdad helps you.
Yeah.
So first time you call out for help, he comes and helps you. You're in Crown Court because originally you're on bail for murder, and then obviously once you get to Crown Court,
I were on bail but under investigation.
Okay. Or pending further investigation.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And I spoke to my stepdad, and I went to Crown Court, and all I can say, my stepdad and my mum wrote me a brilliant letter, and by this point, I had totally given up. To be honest, I didn't want to live. I didn't want to live.
Well, like you said, that the man who'd been majority of your life.
I was sticking anything and everything in me. If in doubt, I'll try it, like that. And this judge, I'm up in Crown Court, and I said, Judge, can I just say something to you, please? So he went, yeah. I went, I know they're going on like I'm supplying drugs and it. So can I just say that I used to give Evo heroin, and he'd give me it like you take your wife a cup of tea on a morning. I said, that's how we were. And I don't know, something in the judge he just turned around and he went, has this woman ever been to rehab? And at that point, I'm thinking, I'll go to rehab. And I'll do that, yeah. So they adjourned it for 5 months for me to see whether I'd engage with services and that, because I was going to get my meth script, but that was just going in there. But whether I'd actually do something about it, and I have to say, if it wasn't for the Joanna Project, I got involved with Joanna Project because where we were living at the time in Beeston, we had working girls living with us, and I'd just done a sentence just before COVID lockdown, and Joanna Project was the only outreach people that were still allowed to move about during COVID. So because theoretically, even though everyone had a bed set, I'd been released homeless and that, they started helping me.
Okay.
And I had a wonderful worker called Jackie, and I used to have to go to one-to-one meetings, and I used to have to go to a rehab prep group. This poor worker, Jackie, used to thing, and I'd be, I'm at so-and-so, I'm up Meanwood, and this woman would come and sit outside trap houses waiting for me to come out, or I'd be there and I'd be, I just need to give this guy his money. Going over to the car, going in, I'm just going to get changed and washed, going in the house and disappearing for half an hour.
So this Jackie never gave up on you, did she?
Jackie, honest to God, what a wonderful woman. And it's mad because when I'd done my year clean day, I went to Ellen Road, you know, for the graduation from Forward Leeds, and Jackie was my guest.
That's brilliant. Okay, so obviously there's a story here where we want to cover. So this judge,
Yeah.
he's put it out there as you have you been. So had you ever been to rehab before that?
No,
Okay.
never. Nobody had ever said to me, I'd been on methadone 22 years. Nobody had ever said to me anything. I didn't like, I thought that was for rich people.
And this judge now has turned around and said,
Has this woman ever been to rehab?
so what happens then? So you start engaging with this 5-month period, but you've got ups and downs. You've got Jackie. You've got Jackie who's a...
To be honest, I was very deceitful and I was still using. And but Jackie never gave up hope on me. Laura Lawrence never gave up hope on me. And I can remember I've been going to these meetings and that, and this, I'll never forget it because I wrote it down as my darkest day in addiction. And I was trying to get myself, I was in a bath, trying to get a vein, and I was just screaming to God saying, just take me or let me get myself. Just one or other. And then I got myself and like sat down and thought, maybe I should give this rehab a go, do you know what I mean?
Because I think we often, and I'd said it to you before off camera, where often people have that breaking point or that light bulb moment. So what's yours? What's your breaking point where you go? Or is it a light bulb moment where you go, listen, I can't keep doing this. I need to change my life around. What is that?
That in the bath was a big point for me, but I still had that side of me that was, oh, we'll just go do what the judge says so we don't have to go to jail. So, you know, I still had that mentality. And I can remember one of the rehabs I went to go look at the time used to take dogs. And I thought, great, I'll take Hope, and Hope will probably get me kicked out for being aggressive, and then I'll be all right because it's right back near motorway to get back to Leeds. Because I still had that in me. And then Hope had to be put down on 28th of February. She got a tumour. So by this point, everyone's died in July. Tyson, my other dogs, died in December. Then Hope's died. Then I've lost the house.
Okay.
So my whole life's gone. I'm on my mate's sofa in Meatmud, going out grafting every day. And I was just broken. I've been a broken woman for a long time, but that were broken, stood on and jumped on, you know. And Laura Lawrence said, please just come look at this place, please. Before you go back to court, come look at this place. I really want you to go look at this place. I'll never forget it. Gone to Littledale rehab, which is where Tommy went.
Okay.
And it was Tommy that had also had a conversation with me about going to Littledale, thinking that it'd suit me better for the calmness.
Good man, though, isn't he?
Oh, I love Tommy bits. Yeah. Tommy's one of my go-to people. Whenever my head's going west the road, if ever he says, my phone's always there for him. Because you are who you have it with in recovery. Definitely. So I've gone, I wouldn't get out of the car. I don't want all these people looking at me. You know, I think it took them 45 minutes to get me out of the car, and they only got me out of the car because I wanted a fag. And I wasn't allowed to smoke in the car. So I've gone up, and I'll never forget, they've got like a little bus shelter and back door. And there was a stone, and on that stone, it said hope. Well, I've got hope there for my hope.
Yeah.
And I took it as a sign. Whatever, however you look at it, I took it as a sign of my higher power, whatever you want to say, ever, my dogs telling me to go there. And it was the best thing I ever did.
So, what's life like for you now then?
Oh, it's good, man. It's good, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was everyone's anniversary last week, and my head fell off. Even though it's 3 years, my head fell off because I had real guilt and shame this year.
Okay.
Like, first year, I was just off me. Second year, I was in rehab. Third year, it like, Yeah. And the guilt and the shame, and do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if I hadn't given my methadone, it wouldn't have happened. But the thing was, the man was yellow, his eyes were yellow, and he wouldn't go to hospital. I'd been trying for a week to get him to hospital. And, you know, and if the lad that I'd left to sit with him, the what ifs, and because I overthink everything, the what ifs that were going through my head, but I got me sent up and had a good chat with one of my housemates. I went to a meeting, had a good chat with my sponsor who were doing a share, so I spoke to someone else. Because although I hadn't done the steps, I did therapeutic community, and I was adamant I wasn't going to do the steps.
Because I was going to ask you if you'd done the 12 steps, yeah.
I was adamant I wasn't going to, but I used to go to the meetings for connection.
Right.
Because I believe the opposite of addiction is connection.
Right.
I'm very much for that. And like I said, my go-to people. And I go to this one meeting, I absolutely, totally can relate to all the people that go. I've met an amazing, inspirational woman whose story isn't much different to mine. And I thought, yeah, maybe. And the other thing was, I was like, out of rehab, I was in supported housing, and then I'm in another supported housing, and I was doing lots of things for other people and their recovery, and I thought, maybe I need to do something just to keep on top of mine. Even though I'm going to meetings and stuff, you know, maybe I need to just peel back a bit.
Do you know what? I think in life we have successes, don't we? But sometimes the success is when you hear somebody else speak of you. And what was quite kind of hit for me a little bit is when, because obviously originally when you came here, you was with your niece?
Yeah.
So you came with your niece, and the words that she said about you, I was watching you. Although I was listening to her speak, I was watching you, and you smile like that now, like you've done the exact same thing where you've got this grin.
Yeah.
Because obviously she says about what you did for her, which has made her positive and made her live a good life.
All my nieces, because the thing was, I wasn't there for my nieces when they were growing up, and the oldest two, the twins, I'd never met the kids. When I were in rehab, that Christmas I was in rehab, I met my great niece and nephew, and they were 6 and 7.
Okay. Wow.
Because of my addiction, when my sister had cancer, I wasn't there for them kids. Do you know what I mean? But I'm lucky that my family and my nieces, because I've improved on my life, are now letting me see the kids. I mean, you should have seen me. I got a text off my sister the other week, and she went, "Will you stay in my house while Builder's here, because I need someone I can trust?" I was like, me?
Wow. Yeah.
Back in the day, I wouldn't have known where she lived. You know?
No.
And
No,
but it's
but
the
that's
little things
it's
like
little
that.
things, 100%.
And it's like, I was with my nieces on the birthday, and then, because Evo died on the 23rd, and it's my dad's anniversary on the 27th.
Okay.
It's kid's birthday on the 25th, the twins. So, 26, sorry. So we spent the day together at a theme park and that. And do you know what? I took a picture and I put it on my TikTok, and I put, "Nobody loves you in a trap house like this." Because, but it's the little things now. It's like, whenever I talk to people, because I volunteer with probation, Lancashire women have been absolutely amazing. I'm starting volunteering with them. I'm going to start going prisons and that, because I'm on licence. Yeah. I got 29 months suspended for 2 years when I got my rehab order, and that's up on 1st of September. And I'm going to go start talking to girls and that. They put my story out on laptops in Style Prison.
Oh yeah, so that's why when they're in the cells, they can go on there and see your story.
So if they've borrowed a computer, so they can watch my story.
Okay.
And the governor just happened to be in there when they showed it to like the first 6, and they were saying how inspirational and that I was, and how if I could do it, they could do it. And so yeah, but it's like my recovery is it gives me that warm feeling, and the way I described it the other day, my sponsor is I'm getting goosebumps now because that warm feeling, heroin you see in me, I'm getting it from helping other people.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, nobody would have thought I'd have helped anyone and turned them upside down and took the trainers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
whereas
like, now I get, but don't get me, it's like two of my TikTokers have gone to rehab. They've gone to my rehab.
Based on
my TikToks. Wow. And what they're talking to me.
That's powerful.
And, you know.
So, I often ask this question. And I'm actually going to be I never plan my questions. But I've been sat here and I'm thinking I've got to come to this question. And I'm going to be extremely intrigued of the answer that you will give. So I'm going to fire it out anyway. So my question to you is this: if you could change anything in your life, so it's a 2-part question. If you could change anything in your life, what would it be and why?
I want to say some things, but then if I didn't have them things, yeah, I wouldn't be where I am. You know.
Yeah.
Trauma over triumph over trauma.
So you won't change anything?
Obviously I'd have loved the fairy tale, you know, but it wants to be.
I think, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody's come on here yet and said they'd change anything, because it takes you to the path that you are. It takes you to where we are now. It takes you to those 2 TikTokers that have now gone into rehab. Your journey's your journeys for a reason. In the same way you go to that place and you won't get out of the car for 45 minutes, you get out of the car to have a cigarette and you see that pebble that says hope on it, you've got hope on you. So I mean, all these things are all for a reason, aren't they?
Definitely.
So I understand why. And I understand why, because I wouldn't. I mean, I have children, so my paths always lead me to my children, because then I wouldn't have my kids if I didn't do certain things. I wouldn't lead there. So so far, nobody has. But then I've got a second question for you. What advice would you give to your younger self? So that's not changing anything, and I'm not putting any particular age on it. It's just, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Don't rely on a man. Never. But I never did. This was a thing, though. My dad used to say, never rely on a man for money. So even when I was up to no good, I was always better. You know, I had this thing in my head that I could always make my own money, and I think that was also to my downfall, obviously. But I always had that mentality. But I emotionally relied.
Right, okay, yeah.
If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean on the emotional side of it. So what advice would you give to your younger self then?
Be more independent and more secure in your own self.
Wow. I like that. That's quite powerful, isn't it? It's very powerful.
I had no self-worth. I had no self-worth whatsoever. When I went to rehab, they said, "Oh, would you like to introduce yourself to the community?" I went, "I'm Charlie. I'm a junkie shoplifter from Leeds. Grows a bit of weed." That's how I looked at myself. But when I did my completion, because don't get me wrong, rehab's hard. You look at some stuff, and I did some stuff, work on my, and I totally refused to do it. I'm not doing that. But then as I went through rehab, little things started going click in my head. By my completion, I was going, I'm Charlie. I'm a caring, kind, compassionate person, and I'm going to help others, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I couldn't look at myself at the beginning of rehab and that honestly, little Dale changed my life, but it all started from that judge saying, "Has this woman ever been to rehab?"
Yeah.
And that's why I do gratitude lists, because I was so resentful. I was very resentful of my family, of what my life. I was so resentful, so I do gratitude lists every day. And do you know what? That judge is always at the top of my list.
Yeah, because he started it, didn't he?
Yeah, he started the ball roll. If that man hadn't uttered those words to me, I'd have been in jail again.
Or dead.
Well, yeah, probably.
I think I'm going to go back as well, because there was a bit where I tried to change the date on you slightly, and you was like, "Nah, I can't do that," because you was obviously with your family and your friends, and even in your messages, you sounded excited for what you were doing. Like, you're just up here for a couple of days. So I want to thank you, because I know that your little time window that you had, and you've given the time out for me.
But I have to say, I've just won a ticket to ADMT at Trinity in Leeds, so I'm staying an extra night now.
Well,
that's the universe giving back.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 100%. Wow. Okay. Right. Time has come for you to ask me your question now.
So, I have this fear, right, of coming back to Leeds.
Okay.
Yeah. And of getting dragged into stuff. Yeah. How have you managed to come home and stay safe? Because isn't there always somebody there from back in the day and all that jazz? That's the way I look at it. I have a proper fear when I come to Leeds.
I think everybody can see. Yeah, it's a stuff. What's the question again?
How do you keep yourself safe from not getting dragged into drama? And
so, yeah, right. So I think what it is mine started whilst still being away, where I sent a message, because obviously I explained to you what my turning point was from the letter, and from then I sent a message out from there, like, listen, I'm done. Maybe people was more thankful that I said I was done, but I was done, and I didn't deviate from that path. I genuinely didn't deviate from it. If I saw people, I blatantly ignored them, or I would wait for a reaction. So because I was always a person that was first, I started drawing back. So I wouldn't give a reaction. I'd see them, but then I would turn away, like, I'm not really interested, like, I don't want it, and I would continue on my path. And luckily enough for me, nobody ever engaged in anything or said anything to me. I've had this stare, stare down or something, but I think, me personally, and I say this all the time, a lot of people say, "Oh, I saw you the other day," and I go, "I didn't see you," because my path is, I drive. Unless I come to a junction, I don't look left or right. I know where I'm going, and I know where I want to be. So all this peripheral stuff, I don't really take much notice of. It has to be on the journey that I'm on.
You see, when I was in detox, I had to give my phone to my mum and my sister, because I was good at what I did, and people were phoning me up. "Oh, we'll come get you and bring you, blah blah blah." Because I were in there in September. "Oh, we want Charlie for Christmas."
Yeah.
And even there were an instance, if somebody recognised me and it was, "Charlie, where can I get rid of this?" And I'm like, no.
Yeah, there has to be a bit, and I think what people, and again, you'll understand it more than anyone, is there's always going to be the temptation.
I'm thinking one of the worst things that's happened to me is I was going through town, and somebody that's known me since I was 16 was the one that went, "Do you want to come with me?" No.
Yeah. I think, and that's why I understand why you don't, you no longer live up here, which I get it, because I understand it for you. I think for me, I just look, I think, but what I do believe as well, though, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, I think your path has changed that much now that you could. I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying you could, because I think you're looked at in a different light now. Whereas a lot of people look to you from the light of criminal aspects, whereas I think you've got more people out there now, if people do go onto your TikTok, you'll see like you've got a lot of
yeah.
followers. So for me, you've got more followers now, 10 times the amount of followers, 20 times the amount of followers than what you ever had from your past life. So I think for you, you've made a positive change, which is only going to hold you in high regard, because the people that do matter are only saying good things about you.
Yeah.
The people that don't are not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I can't change what my past. I've done the things I've done, but you know, I can make sure my future's better than what it was.
Of course you can.
And I can make sure I'm not costing society. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather help it. And somebody said a brilliant thing to me, because like when I was mentoring that, if anyone fell off and that, it proper affects me. And rehab, they have to say to me sometimes, leave it at the door, Charlie, because I'd take it home and it'd consume me, because I overthink everything. What could I have done? Where and it's having to rein it back. And but somebody said a brilliant thing to me. They said, Charlie, you can plant the seed of recovery. It's up to somebody else to water it and make it grow.
Yeah.
And I look at it like that now, so I've got a bit better. But sometimes first, like when I first started doing it, first couple really got me.
Well, I mean, I think you are most definitely an inspiration for. I think yours is multifaceted as well, because I think yours is an inspiration for people on substance misuse. I think yours is an inspiration for domestic violence. I think yours is an inspiration for young women. So I would like to say, for me personally, I would love you to carry on the path that you're taking, and I'd love to have you back once you've finished your license and then you've got all your ducks in a row, shall we say. I know you've got a few plans going forward and on what you want to be doing.
Believe it or not, this is how mad my life is at the minute. Okay. Like, honest to God, I lie in bed and I laugh to myself sometimes, because like I was so involved with madness and silliness. And on 25th of September, I'm doing a speech to Chief Constable and blooming heads of police and youth offending and domestic violence and probation and prison governors. And it's like...
Well, is that not proof of how far you've come?
Yeah, it's like, wow.
And again, so obviously...
the fact that somebody's even asked me to speak, like, and before I'd have thought, nobody would listen to me, you know. And it's... my recovery, I'm not saying it's easy, but... sometimes I just have to reel myself in, and I use think, feel, do a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I use that to like take myself back, because trust me, I think the only time I'd ever slip back is if a man hurt one of my nieces.
Okay.
I don't think, I think the old Charlie would come out. My mum always said there's a hard Charlie and a soft Charlie. And I know that nasty side of me is there, but I can rein it in and then talk myself out of it a lot, whereas I couldn't before. But I think anything, my mum, my sister, anyway, but isn't that normal? Yeah,
it's like, I mean, I would say the same thing, like I've changed my life considerably. However, you put your hand on one of my kids, and I've got daughters as well.
So
I've got my daughters.
I'm not that bad, really.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Like, I'd come out of retirement in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you've been boom.
I don't want to, just for the
no.
Your camera's there, I'm here. I don't want to, but I totally understand.
So when I'm thinking about that, for you to say that to me, that makes me think I'm not. So I'm all right.
I think you ask any man on the street. I mean, I'll tell you what, you ask our mutual friend. He'd tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
There's other people. There's another person that spoke highly of you as well, Sonny. Again, if you asked him, same thing. Yeah. I think most people would when it comes to your family. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Oh,
it genuinely has. And I, like I said, I think you are an inspiration to a lot of people now. So I would like to say, keep it going.
Yeah,
and I do. Once we get like about another year down the line, I actually do want you back on.
Yeah.
Just because I want to know where your path has gone. After you spoke to all these people, you finished your license and you're working with you've got Lancashire women?
Lancashire women, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've going for my training in September.
Okay, well that's good.
But it's like do you know what? This was brilliant. Other day, the first person that I mentored from probation and that, she's set up her own group now in Blackpool, her own recovery group in Blackpool. It's like, oh,
you are an inspiration. That's why I'm saying to you, John, you're an inspiration to a lot of people.
Yeah, well,
Do you know? It's just, you know what it is. I think in life we have this thing about success, but so what people don't realize is sometimes the successes that you have are with other people, and the successes that you have with other people you might never see, but that doesn't mean to say it wasn't successful.
I know it's like the little messages and that I get on TikTok and that, and it's like, I mean, one of the DJs that followed has only sent me tickets to go to Proper Fest because he's so proud of me.
Well, it was like today when he said to me, like, he was like, Carl, can I put it out there that I'm coming? I was like, yeah, of course you can. Like, you've got this thing where you're excited about everything you're doing when it's positive and you give it.
Yeah.
So listen, it's going to shine through. And I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No
It's
problem.
been good.